all, how you doing? It's Rebecca Downs on Downs Your Way. This is how we roll. Oh, little tippy taps in the background there as HRH, His Royal Highness, the Lord himself, Ralph, joins me, my little dog Ralph. Where's he gone? Yeah, he's all right. He's tippy-tapping his way into the office, as he is wont to do, because he wants to know. There he is now. Ralph, please stop squeaking. Please, thank you so much. He wants to know as well what my thoughts are of the roundup of all these interviews that we've done. It's been actually one of the most interesting things I've ever done. I honestly mean that, interviewing all these wonderful people and talking to them about real issues in the music industry, and getting them to, you know, kind of open up a little bit and talk to me a little bit more honestly than is normally the party line. Because we all have a party line. We all go through PR and media help where they want us to present a certain image. But I think I've said many times throughout the interviews that I think with social media these days, if people actually want to know the real us, and they do seem to want to know the real us, and I really like that, you know, that alongside that comes more honesty about the industry and what we're facing and what we deal with. So, looking back over, let's just go over them. So Luke Morley, I think for me, one of the most interesting comments to come out of the Luke Morley interview, obviously Luke Morley from Thunder, you know, one of the biggest rock bands in the UK. I've always been a massive fan, so it was great to talk to Luke. But one of the most interesting things for me, he said, was about the VIP tickets for Thunder. So he was basically really honest, talking about, you know, the tours wouldn't really work, they wouldn't really provide the financial stability without charging the fans a higher rate for a VIP ticket. Now, this is really interesting, and I know a lot of fans, some are against VIP tickets, some are for them, but in the main, for bands working in this kind of sector, and sort of, even though Thunder are a massive band, we're not talking about Taylor Swift, are we? We're not talking about Ed Sheeran. We're not talking about Harry Styles, people like that, which I know charge ridiculous amounts for VIP tickets. Even ones where you don't even meet them, but you just get like a little upgrade thing and a goodie bag. You know, and I've got students that I work with who pay for these tickets all the time, and we're talking loads of money. Loads of money. And those artists, you know, they're not doing those VIP stuff because, one, they maybe want to, they're real, or that they need the money. They're doing it because the companies that are behind them are making them do it. And so I'm not dissing any of those artists because, you know, they're pawns in the game in a lot of respects. But when it comes to artists in this sector, the blues rock sector, those VIP tickets actually really help a tour to succeed and actually either make a little bit of money or at least not owe the band any money. And I know a hell of a lot of tours, and I'm not going to name names because that's not fair. I'd have to interview those people directly. I know Alan Nimmo touched on this. You can go back to that episode if you want, where the bands do a tour and they are owing money. They're owing money. So they're not actually even breaking even. So those VIP tickets things, do I think they're a good idea? I think for our sector, I think they really are. I think if there's people willing to pay for that and it keeps bands touring and afloat at a certain range, then why not? Then why not? It's almost like you know, you're really supporting the band. You know, you're going out and saying, look, I really love this band. I've bought everything that they bring out. I've got nothing else to buy right now. I'll get a VIP ticket. I mean, what do you think? If you got any questions, just, you know, or any comments on that, just let me know. I don't do VIP tickets because I don't know how I do them actually right now. Because I so want to meet everyone that comes to gigs. It's almost like you should be charging me, actually, because I'm just so happy to meet you. But I'm not on a level where I'm touring in a tour bus that's costing me £800 a day. And if I was, then I would be charging VIP tickets. Do you know what I mean? At the moment, I'm working at a level which I've subscribed to, which me and Steve and Colin and the guys think is appropriate for where we are, and also for our lives at the moment, that we're not doing night after night after night. The gigs are spread out, the shows are spread out. So, we don't need to rush from one gig to the other and use a massive tour van and all the rest of it. As I say, at like £800 a day, because we're working it in a different way, which suits us, which allows us to make a little bit of money out of the gigs, to put back in the business, to pay all the musicians that we're so happy that work with us. But if that did change, then my views on that and what I had to do would also change. It would just have to. That's the way it is. One of my favourite conversations was with the legendary Walter Trout. I mean, oh my God. Again, you all know about Walter Trout. Oh my, who doesn't, for God's sake? But I loved, for different reasons, talking to him, obviously, because of all the amazing stories. I mean, you could listen to this man until the cows come home, and I haven't got a cow. I'll just be honest about that. But I could listen to him forever. But one of the main really interesting things he was talking about was kind of the Blues Police vibe that came along. Whereas, so I know he's bringing out, and he's been working with Dee Schneider and people like that. And, it's very kind of, a lot of the blues people won't really like that much. And he sort of talked about a lot of the backlash on social media that he sometimes has, like being accused of, not being a real blues player. And for somebody with his reputation and history of the legends in blues that he's worked with, to be accused of that on any level just makes me think that a lot of the time, this is what I think, this is my personal opinion, that the blues hurts itself. And everyone keeps saying, we got to keep it alive. We've got to keep the blues alive. Well, if you look at other genres like folk, if we just take folk for an example, or indeed jazz, we'll just take folk. So you've got traditional folk and you've got traditional folk clubs, and that's all cool. And that's, people who just love traditional folk, they'll go and check that out. But you've got folk all the way up and into mainstream pop music like Mumford & Sons and Passenger. But they're not hounded by the people that go to folk gigs, traditional folk gigs, that they're not folk enough, that they're not this, that they're not that. So folk has managed to expand exponentially, way more than blues has. And I think that's such a shame. The jazz thing is again, all about trad jazz. You've got trad jazz clubs. You've got all different variations on jazz music. And then you've got jazz artists and neo-jazz artists that are riding high on Spotify, that are doing so well. You've got likes of Madeline Peru and people who've got swing and jazz going on, and so many. I'm not going to name them all. But again, it's sort of like they're not just high up in a jazz vibe, and the folk are not just high up in a folk genre. They're high up and working really well within the mainstream, which, okay, you could say Rag and Bone Man is for blues, but then traditional people that are kind of the blues police in the UK would say he's not blues. But by doing that, you're basically compressing this genre into the tiniest, tightest circle. And in the end, that circle will kind of circle round, I believe, until it disappears, unless people can say that's blues influenced, and that's okay. Just like something would be folk influenced, and that's okay. So that stuff we spoke about, me and Walter, and for me, it's a really, really interesting topic and something that's at the heart of what we do. And I've, again, spoken to many other artists in this genre about that it's kind of the people that are trying to keep sometimes the blues alive are the ones that are almost strangling it, which is such a shame because I don't believe they want to do that. And I think maybe let's all have a little think about that, you know? I'm roots influenced, always have been. Am I blues? I don't know. Some tracks, maybe. Other tracks, not so much. And you know what? That should be fine. That should be fine. But I too have had the old, why did you win a UK Blues Award? You're not the real blues, blah, 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 blah. Darlings, I never said that I am the real blues. Never. Just blues influenced. And that's fine. So that was an interesting episode. If you want to go and have a look at that. And it's a big discussion, you know. But I think let's not strangle the blues. You know, hardcore blues will always be there. But everything else that pivots from that is also valid. Let's not shout it down straight away. Let's not do that. Let's be a bit more open. And hopefully by doing that, we can expand the people and the demographic that actually enjoy blues-tinged or, you know, blues-influenced music. I don't know. What do you think? You can let me know. You can email me. It's on the website, info@rebeccadans.com. Please be kind, though. I know this is a very, it's a very explosive subject, this is. But I do really believe in that. I really do believe in keeping blues music alive. Do I think I should just play 12-bar blues? No, I don't, because I don't think I'm bringing anything new, and that's not for me. So anyway, there we are. And we've spoken to, and you've had a listen to lots of beautiful people: Danny Bryan, Els Bailey, Big Bloater. You know, talking about, how he's moved to Europe and the kind of vibe in that sort of sector over there. So there's loads for you to listen to. I'm just going to touch on now, because I don't really go over every episode. If you want to listen to the episodes, recap them or whatever, we'd love you to do that. If you want to rate, review and subscribe, because there's going to be something else coming. Not too sure what that is yet, but having had these conversations with all these amazing people, and I'm very grateful to each and every one of them for sitting down with me and having these interviews, that there's lots of things in my mind now that I'm, sort of questioning and thinking, what do we need to talk about next? So there's lots of questions in my mind, and pretty sure there's going to be another series pulling away from what we've done here and into new realms. So hang on for that. We'll have a little, something will be coming soon, I'm sure. I'll end on talking to Chantel McGregor and my brother from another mother, Alan Nimmo. I mean, Chantel as well. Oh, man, I love this girl so much. She's so honest, so down to earth. Like, what a great girl. She's a girl after my own heart. She's just amazing. Speaking again about how women are kind of looked at on social media, that was a very interesting discussion. Some of the backlash that she has and has had on YouTube videos, people being nasty, not being very complimentary about the way they think she looks, stuff like that, which I have had in the past as well. Basically, when I cut my hair, people didn't like it. I think what they didn't know at the time, there was more going on than me just having my hair cut. I was going through a very stressful time, and my hair was going exceptionally thin, and it was the only way forward for me at that time to try and bring it back. But I got a fair bit of backlash from that. People said I didn't look like a real blues singer anymore. And as I've said, I've never said I am a real blues singer. But anyway, there we go. But if you ever listened to that one with that episode with Chantel, I mean, it's quite incredible that in this day and age, we're kind of like, I think mainly more so as women, being faced with, well, what you look like is okay for someone on social media to come back and say, well, I don't like the way you look. You know, that's okay for someone to say that. And it's usually a man, I have to say. What's that all about? People come in all different shapes, sizes, looks, skin tones, haircuts, the way they dress, everything. Surely we should be concentrating a bit more on the music that's produced. And if you don't like the way someone looks or the music they produce, guess what? Don't listen to it. Don't look at it. You don't have to put something negative, do you? What's the problem? So, I mean, yeah, I've had negative comments, but I always think, oh, I hope that person's all right. Let's put that negative comment. Because I don't understand what kind of bad mindset you must be in yourself to actually put a negative comment against somebody you don't even know. Do you know what I mean? It's like you must be in a really bad place yourself if you feel that is what you should be doing or to make you feel better. So, you know, I hope those people who put all those negative comments about me, about Chantal, about other artists are all right, actually, and I do mean that. Because who knows what anyone's going through at any one time. Why don't you just give people a break and just scroll? You don't like something, just scroll on. There's so many artists out there, so much music. You don't have to be negative, do you? Chill out. Just chill out. Luckily, you know, they are in the minority, so that's a great thing. But as Chantel said, it's always that one person, isn't it? That one person who'll say something nasty and it resonates with you in spite of all the positive. And Walter Trout said the same as well. Because we're human, you know. As I say, we're trying to be honest in these podcasts. We're trying to dispel some of the myths. And yes, guess what? We're human. We're not cyborgs. We have actually got hearts. You do realise that? I'll end with talking about my absolute, I love him so much, Mr. Alan Nimmo. He's become such a great friend of mine, and I admire him so much. And he talked about what it's like to take a band to the next level. And earlier I spoke about, you having to get the old Nightliner tour bus, where you all sleep on. It's a lot of money, folks. It's a lot of money to pay for that. So to pay for that and make it work is, it's very, very tight. And one of the saddest things was when he spoke about, playing the Barrowlands, which would have been, a childhood dream for him. And he just couldn't enjoy it to its potential because of all the money worries he was going through at the time. And this just is such a tribute to him for getting on that stage and giving it all. And no one knew. I've seen the comments. No one knew. He threw himself into that performance like he always does and just knocked it out the park like he always does. Giving you, the audience who've bought your tickets, every single ounce of energy that he can. When inside, he's hurting. He's hurting real, real bad and worried. And I do thank a lot of you because people put comments on saying I've gone on and bought some merch and I've, having heard this, all that stuff, it massively helps. We know people ain't got loads of money right now. If you can't buy merch, you can still support us artists. Share our posts on social media. Word of mouth is always a great thing. Share the gigs that come up. Honestly, they do really, really help. What they also really help with, if you share from our pages on, Facebook especially, is that they help to dispel the algorithm because basically, Facebook wants us as artists to pay to boost posts and to advertise posts and to get more likes all the time. But the more people that share a post, the more that they can't do that because it's actually naturally going a little bit viral, the more people that share it. So the more people that share our posts, we know people ain't got loads of money at the moment. We respect that. We respect everything you do for us. This series of podcasts isn't about moaning at you. It's about saying thank you so much. We just want a little bit of honesty running through the industry, maybe, because I think that's going to help. If it helps you understand, then you kind of know some of why we're making the decisions we make and why we act the way we do. So, yeah, it's great if you can buy merch, and it's great if you can buy the VIP tickets and the T-shirts and the CDs and the vinyl and all this kind of thing. But if you share our posts, that really, really helps us as well, massively. So, never think, I just ain't got the money, there's nothing I can do. You can always help if you just talk to your mates about, I saw a really great band the other night. That's it. People, streaming is a demon we have to live with. Stream our songs, share them, share the links on, off Spotify and iTunes and all that. Leave us reviews on the album, hopefully positive. If you've got a negative review on an album, how about you just don't leave it? How about you just don't? Because if it's an independent artist who's living hand to mouth, that negative view could pull all those reviews down and the score down, and then that might stop somebody buying the album. So, I don't know, maybe if you've got a really negative opinion of somebody, maybe just throw a bit of kindness their way and think, well, that album wasn't for me, but I'm not going to, maybe message them, do you know what I mean? So it doesn't resonate so much across something that could actually impact their income, of which is very, very small. So, I mean, these are just, things that you could do. And we're not trying to preach at you. We're just trying to keep it real, basically, and keep this genre, mixed genres, alive, and this scene alive. We don't want it to die off. We want to introduce new people to the music. We think it's worth it. We love what we do. We're so grateful for the people that support us. And we just want to keep on doing it as long as we can. And, and we're so thankful for all you guys. We really, really are. So, that's about me sort of blurting on for a while, innit? I've blurted on for quite a while. But I'd just really like to say thank you so much for listening. We've really appreciated you listening. I've really appreciated you listening. Any comments, any queries, give me a shout. This podcast series hasn't been about selling anyone's merch or anything like that. It's had that effect on a lot of times, but it's been more about digging into problems and issues within the industry. And I hope now we're all a little bit wiser, having heard it from the horse's mouth. Horse's mouth? Does that work? It's going to have to work, guys. It's going to have to work. So anyway, big love for me. Email us. We love to hear from you. And another series will be coming, but it's going to be slightly different. Send you all my love. Thanks again to everyone for taking part. And it's all time out from me and from Ralph, my beautiful little dog. See you later, guys. Big love. Things that I can't explain. I love the heat coming from this game, and I got you now. I got you now. You're coming with me. You're coming with me.